What the heck is a Quadlock?
Watch this to find out.
Whether you're in the car, on the bike, on the water, in the air, your phone is an important tool. Keep it secure with Quadlock.
Probably going to be some cars that end up in a fence, but yeah, it's the entertainment business. That's what we're here to watch.
Chris, love it. And you bloody hit the nail on the head in there, mate. This business is entertainment. I feel like they forget that shit sometimes. Like, fuck, entertain the fans that have paid for the tickets.
Oh no! He's in the fence! They're both in the fence! They're all in the fence! Oh, unbelievable!
You ready for a sound check, mate?
Yep.
Switch out your can.
I've got this bad boy.
Oh, all right. We'll move that one though, so it's not on the table. Looks like
Well,
shit.
I'm going to drink it, mate.
Sloppy.
You're fucking sloppy.
Sound check. Oh, that was hard.
Sound check.
Took
Done that
me a
before, mate?
Took me a while.
First beer?
Cheers, mate.
Lovely.
Let's get in the first memo.
Hey guys, Andrew here. Great work on the pod. I love the honest opinions each week.
Thanks,
Just
mate.
wanted to talk about the racing on the weekend and even this year in general. It's just been really enjoyable to watch. Good to see some good hard racing. Hats off to Berto for allowing the play on rule. I've been a massive fan of the sport for years, and I've found it difficult to watch it over the last couple of years just due to the fact that it's just been the procession. This year's unreal. I'm actually excited each round to turn on and making it a priority to watch. Was disappointed on the weekend though of the wet weather that they called it off. It's hard as a fan sitting on the couch understanding a bit of wet weather and we can't race. You know, they bang on all the time about the best drivers in the world.
Mm.
I mean, I drive down to the shops to get the groceries when it's wet. I just have to back it off a bit. You know, I can't understand why a bit of wet weather and we just turn it off. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on all that and keep up the good work.
The big one's always pumping us up as the best drivers in the world. And then that's where I think we lose the empathy of the fans when it rains and we don't go racing.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything you said.
Yeah, I think that's...
It's true though, right?
And the racing is better. So yeah, credit to Berto and the team there. They are also letting good racing go. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, no, even to his point, like, I know he was joking saying he drives to the shop in the wet, he's got to slow down. But it's true, like, when it's raining in Melbourne, you don't drive on the tram line, do you?
Exactly.
Like, because you know it's going to be slippery. Like, you adjust to the conditions.
Yeah.
We've all raced in wet conditions and you've got to do that. It's part of being a driver, and that's so it's kind of true.
It is like, and I've been in the car and you're like, oh, I'm glad they didn't race. But then you're right. You look back to when we're younger. Fuck, I've done some sketchy races in some cars that like are pretty much on slicks. I mean, go-karting, I'm showing my age here, but when I first started go-karting, the first 2 years was they didn't have a wet tire. It was just slicks. And you still raced. So you can do it. Like, he's right. You just go a bit slower.
Just go slow, yeah.
But you're going to get, the thing is, we're going to get every driver, you know, saying no, well, except the guy that's leading the race like Brock. But I think that ultimately you probably could go racing. The time certainty is always, man, I'm gassy. But I got the burps. But the time certainty is the biggest challenge, I think, for the Melbourne Grand Prix.
Yeah,
that's probably what forced the hand. Because if we had time, they would have gone racing.
Circuit. Yeah.
They would have gone racing.
Next here from Summit Sim Sports. What do you reckon about if all sprint races were just timed rather than laps? That way, if there was a safety car, we wouldn't even know the race was shortened. Everything would hit its time limit, and we'd get the exact amount of racing that we expect every time. No disappointment. Anyways, love the pod and chat to you soon.
Summit Sim Sports. Cheers, mate.
Yeah. We actually touched on this.
You did. I won't take credit for this one. You said exactly that.
Normally, it won't matter for supercars because they're the main event at their own events. But yes, when they are going to go to something like...
we still have time certainty, though, with TV and stuff.
You still have time certainty, but they're still lapped races. So that's why if you think back to when Super 2 kept having all that, like they were doing one lap of racing each weekend for 100K, they then took them back to not lapped races, but by minutes to try and get around that too, because they were having that drama.
But do you ever run into the risk where you've just done your race under safety car and it counts for points?
Well, that's kind of what they were having. So
that's a bit shit.
Yeah, it's not a bad point. I sort of thought about that today and mentioned it. It is a good point, but obviously at this event, they are support category and it's kind of as for dictated by Formula One and everything else they got going on.
It's a challenge as well when it is for points because you'd rather it not count than do the whole race under safety car or something and it count for points and then you're just scoring points off qualifying. And especially when you only get like 8 minutes in quali and you get one lap and someone could get blocked or make a mistake and then you lose the chance of a pole or, you know, you end up last. It's just it's a shit sandwich. It's hard.
It is a good call, though. I think it would have potentially helped. But the other problem they had with the GP was they started the race under safety car, so it was already ticking over. So while they were sitting there, the race still would have been ticking down anyway if it was timed or laps. So it was just a shit sandwich, as you said, Scotty. Like, unfortunately, with all the restrictions around Formula One and things, there was probably nothing, whether it was timed or laps, I don't think it was going to make a difference to the call at the end of the day.
What would have happened if they just went racing at the start, do you reckon? Like,
I think it would have been fine. I honestly think, I know there's
you'd
people
make
saying
it work.
there's going to be an aeroplane crash. Self-preservation kicks in at some point as a race car driver. You want to get a good result, so you're never going to drive to a point where you think you're going to aquaplane into a fence. You'll feel it out, and then you'll just work out each lap where the grip's at. Like, that's what I think would have happened. Yeah, someone would have stuffed up and maybe put it in the fence, maybe. But, I mean, that's not different to a dry race, right?
Yeah, and it's like even
you're always chasing the edge of grip, right? Whether it be dry or wet. The risk, like, yeah.
Well, you don't stay on a drying track until it's 100% safe to go to the slick, do you?
Yeah.
You go to the slick when it's the quickest, earliest point you can go to it. Hunters, just a moment to shout out our partners. Now, this is a very important part of the show. I know it interrupts it, and I hope you're enjoying it. But these guys allow us to keep coming back and creating content like this one for you guys. So I want to shout out Quadlock. Quadlock's a relatively new partner of the show, so we are pumped to have those guys on board. Head to quadlockcase.net if you're in the market for a phone case or any of the attachments that go along with it. And of course, East Coast Car Rentals, AHU15 for 15% off discount on what is already fantastically priced hire cars. So if you're heading away for a holiday or work, make sure you think of those guys. And if you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group have got you covered. They're also running a very special offer until the end of June 2025. If you get your vehicle serviced at Lancaster Motor Group and mention Apex Hunters United, they'll offer you a free wheel alignment. Sounds pretty good to me. Shore & Partners, they're a new partner of ours. So Shore & Partners Financial Services, check those guys out. And like I said, the links to all of these websites will be in the description below. Trico Products, day one partner. Check those guys out. If you're in the market for wiper blades, of course, Trico are the ones for you. Just steer clear of every other brand. Go straight to Trico, only the best. But thanks, everyone, for the support. And if you want to support us too, head to Patreon. You don't have to, but that keeps us going as well. And we do appreciate the community that we're building there. But enough of that. It's time to get back to the show.
G'day, boys. Love the pod. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
3 things from the AGP weekend that I want to sort of run by years. Firstly, the LeBrock and Woody crash. I feel like he was having a crack. And that's racing, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's unfortunate that old mate's car was damaged, and there was a lot of negativity about, they got to go to NZ next week, blah, blah, blah. But, mate, we're all going to just go single file every lap and everyone's going to be happy. Team owners are going to be happy about it. Like, I feel like if you can't afford to fix cars, then what's the point of racing? That's my take on that. And secondly, the race on Sunday with the wet weather. Yeah, it was pretty wet, but I don't understand why the fuck we make wet tyres.
Yeah.
So true.
We run back in karting. I'm pretty sure everyone used to run in torrential rain and stuff like that and never called it off. And these guys are in the big league and they're getting paid. Most of them are getting paid, so have a crack. And then thirdly, bring back the fucking V10s in F1 because they sound shit at the moment.
Yeah, they do.
I hope they bring back at least the V8s with the hydrogen or whatever the fuck they're going to do. But other than that, cheers, boys.
Thanks, brother.
Listen to yous every pod, so keep it up.
Fuck yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, man.
V10s, quickly. Yes, definitely. Standing in the middle of the track and not being able to hear them go around you.
When a Carrera Cup
I
car,
feel like I'm at the tennis.
Yeah, when a Carrera Cup car's the loudest car there, it's shit
Yeah.
because they don't sound great.
No,
They
they
make
don't.
noise. A lot of great points there. I agree with I think everything you said, to be honest.
The wet in the karting's the big one. Do you remember like racing karts and the apex you'd have to go around the outside because the apex was that deep underwater you couldn't see the inside curb?
Yeah, it was that deep. You'd
you drive around it.
You'd put a bucket from Bunnings over your airbox because you were going through puddles that deep you wouldn't bloody
flood the engine,
flood your motor. So
it's actually
we touched on it before, mate. Like
I feel like I'm detached from that though. I've gone so long without remembering what that's like that even I've gone, no, it's too dangerous. And I mean,
karting, like that was like, and as I was going to say before, the racers inside of everyone on the grid, if they didn't think about the championship or go on New Zealand or whatever else they'll think about at the time, and just you want to get like, how fun is racing a car in the rain? Like trying to find, like as you said, back in karting, we used to froth that stuff as kids. You're like, oh, this is going to be awesome fun. Like, am I going to stuff up? Am I not? Like that was really cool. But and we touched on it before. I'm looking at the Formula Ford now over there, your championship car, and it's like, my first ever racing of Formula Ford was on the dry tyre.
Yeah.
It was like a lightning storm at Phillip Island. Heaps of standing water, heaps of crap going everywhere. I'd never driven it. It was awesome fun.
Yeah.
Like I loved it. And you adjust. So I think they're meant to be the best in the world. Throw the wets on, drive to the conditions. I get there's going to be some circumstances where it's too dangerous for officials and things like that. Fine. But, I think at least try and have a go.
Definitely.
Hey, guys. Love the pod. I think you guys are doing awesome stuff in the world of motorsport in Australia and particularly supercars and cutting through the bullshit. But with the AGP, I think that last race on the Sunday, we deserve to go racing in supercars. We have some of the best drivers in Australia and the world. And those wet weather conditions, we've seen our guys go at it and worse. Like, look at Topor last year, Bathurst in years before. It should have happened. We would have had a great race, and it's just a shame that we didn't get to see the best in the game go at it. And, even with guys like Brown deep in the field, guys like Stanaway right at the front, could he get that first like supercars win as a main driver? Who knows? But, look, it's a shame, and I hope for better for supercars in the future, but I'll leave that with the guys who get paid a hell of a lot more than me to sort out. Cheers, and look forward to more podcasts, guys.
Thank you, mate.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because all the fans, the general consensus seems that we're all just disappointed we didn't get to see what could have been good, especially with someone like Cooper in third, Richie in fourth.
Yep.
Everyone's thinking the same.
Brock off the front. I think people are just, and this is what I feel, people are just disappointed because it feels like they didn't try to go racing.
Yeah.
Like maybe do half a lap. If they get through turn 2 and 3 and everyone's slot, throw the safety car board out. Who cares? Slow them back down. Like,
I think that time certainty, it was like they just went for that first.
They just played the safe card.
Because even when we know there's rain coming, go, okay, we're eliminating the formation lap. Yeah. So there's a few minutes back. We've got a few minutes up our sleeve.
Being proactive, thinking, hey, this is coming. Let's try
what can we do different?
Thinking our toes to make sure we give the fans and put on a great show.
Yep.
So
go to the drivers maybe before the race, before they pull their helmets on, and see their faces when you ask them what they think about going racing. Because, during the race, hearing someone on the radio drive around, of course they're going to say, if they're at the back, don't go racing. But send a safety car out or something early. Go find out, and then you make the call for them maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think make the call for them because, as you said, you're always going to get wildly different opinions up and down the lane.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, they're employed to be there, and if they don't want to do the job, then they won't do it. Like, they've got the decision to say, no, it's too risky. Like, we
don't move as much water as an F1 car either. Like, F1 car is like 1,000 litres per second or something they're spraying. So our visibility isn't even, it's not as bad as them.
No,
It is a lot. It sounds unbelievable, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is with the diffuser and the tyres.
Crompo said 80 litres of tyre, but then that wasn't including aero and diffusers and shit.
Yeah.
So, actually, you probably be there because that's nearly 400 litres just on the tyres plus all the other
pretty
aero.
sure the diffuser and that. Yeah. That's why they've tried mud flaps and things, because they've tried to stop some of the spray.
Yeah.
So be up there. But yeah, our cars, the conversation is the same every time. It's like
just wanted to see him have a go, I think.
Yeah.
G'day guys, Chris from Brisbane here. First time, long time. All the rest. Love the pod, obviously. Why else would I be leaving the bloody message for you? But
Thanks,
probably
mate.
the same as what everyone else is saying about the racing at GP on the weekend. What a complete clusterfuck. What's the truth? Was it the FIA that pulled the pin?
Oh.
Was it the fact that they've got a shit schedule that doesn't allow enough time to fix a fucking car between race meets? Like, what moron approved that? In all seriousness, we got robbed of what could have been one of the best bloody races of the season. You got Richie, a wet weather specialist, starting from P4. You got Waters right behind him. You've got obviously Brocky in fine form. You've got Mozzie and Brown coming from the rear of the field in a wet race. Yeah, probably going to be some cars end up in a fence, but it's the entertainment business. That's what we're here to watch. So keep doing what you're doing anyway, boys. More a comment than a question, I guess. Question: did they fuck up? Answer: yes. Thanks, boys.
Chris, love it. And you bloody hit the nail on the head at the end there, mate. This business is entertainment.
Yeah.
We've said it before, mate. I feel like they forget that shit sometimes. Like, fuck, entertain the fans that have paid for the tickets and everyone that's paid for KO and all the other shit to support the sport, the business. Like, it's an entertainment business, and you're so right. And that's why, start the race. 2-3 cars might fucking spray the fence. They'll fix them. Yeah. Like, they got the best crews, mechanics, engineers. Like, they will fix them, mate.
Yeah.
Like, shit, you saw BRT repair Courtney's thing after he destroyed it, So,
well, the new car as well. We talk about how good they are to repair. We've got clips front and rear. Unfortunately, I tested it at Bathurst. They fixed it overnight. Thing was like brand new the next day. That was a great memo. We didn't, by the way, for the live listeners, we haven't vetted any of these. So
these are coming out.
This is like roulette, but that was unreal, and that was just an authentic comment. Yes, I agree. They fucked up.
And one of our Patreon members that's in our comments here, because we are live streaming this one still, is Not Fast, Just Furious, has said, and they've got windscreen wipers when we were talking before. So
after F1
they got wet tyres, they got all this stuff, plus they got some Trico windscreen wipers on the things.
Yeah.
Like, you should be sweet.
Yeah, there should be no issue. Fuck, that was brilliant.
Hey, boys.
Mate.
So Grand Prix. The supercar races were pretty good, but instead of having a certain amount of laps, why don't they just go to a timed race to start with? Because, the last 2 years, that's all it's been, finishing under time certainty.
Yeah.
So, thoughts on that? And the other thing is, these HT teams, why don't we get away from that altogether and outsource it and do it to like the Kellys or something like that to do the homologation for both cars, and takes it away from the teams, and no disadvantage to any other teams on the grid.
It's actually not a bad idea.
No, I think, and we kind of touched on that with the engine talk. I think anytime you can take it away and then do it from a third party. I think we touched on it back in the day with the chassis when they were talking about the Gen 3. Like, they're using pace and then the teams can build them and all that sort of stuff. But
the challenge is, and Not Fast, Just Furious has made a good point. The problem is all the best teams in Australia or the builders are currently competing. Yeah. And so, he says, because we want decent cars, that's why we don't do that. And that is a good point. I think that's the challenge. You don't really have anyone outside. Like we talked about how hard it is for Chev to find another homologation team, because there's probably not that much depth in our current category to leave TA and find another person that could pick up the pieces and do it properly. So to go outside of the championship would be even more difficult.
The only way that would, to that point would probably work is if Supercars themselves had their own department that was going to do it. Like, they hired and it came from them. To
Supercars,
then you'd have all the good people that are working for teams just working for the governing body. So
and then the other point being around the time. One thing that he said, which kind of stands out to me, is every race actually has been to time.
Yeah,
we just talk about the laps, but it's always been like, the time certain. I remember even on the weekend they were like, there's 8 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So then you're going, okay, about 4 laps or 3 laps. They did,
yeah.
So I remember, I think we were maybe at the pub one day and we're like, there's 6 minutes left in this race. We didn't say how many laps were left because that was kind of irrelevant. Once the race started, it was almost like...
You then start, and that's kind of fun because you start doing, it's 2 minutes late, they're going to do about this. And you start actually doing a bit of math in your head, trying to work out, will it be 3-4 laps to go? What is it?
So if they're already using time, maybe we do just ditch the lap count.
Well, the other thing for them too was they could have, if it was time certain, they could have just said, we've run out of time. It feels like they just abandoned it without trying. Do you know what I mean?
I hate saying that because I'm sure they did, but it didn't seem, I agree. It didn't seem like there was
that's why I personally think F1 or FIA have come over the top and said, it's not happening, guys. We're not going to, as you said, we either don't want the grass to look shit for the aerial footage of the race, or we don't want you to stuff a wall and cost us. I'm sure Supercars MA would have wanted to go green and at least try. My gut feel is that they've had the powers that be who are running the event come over top
and they're never going to come out and say that because
they won't be able to. We'll probably
we're kind of as you can imagine, we're going to be grateful to be on their platform. So you need to do the right thing and try and respect them. And you're never going to talk out of school and say, well, we didn't get to go racing because of them. Because then they just go, well, fuck off then.
So that's my probably stick me foot in here, but that's probably my personal opinion on what's probably caused it. I don't think it was necessary.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, the body could never say it. There's no harm in us speculating saying that could be it. I think it could be, and it makes sense if it is, I think.
Yeah, and
sorry.
No, but from F1's point of view, I can see it from their point of view too. Yeah. They've got a bigger show going on. Like, we think Supercars is the world, right?
We're a support category.
They're the show, so I get it from their point of view too.
G'day, boys. Yeah, just off the back of the last couple of weekends of racing and all the penalties not being handed out and that kind of stuff. I mean, I've never seen so many positive comments on the social media, which is usually just the most inbred comments you could possibly read. It's been bloody awesome racing.
Yep.
A bit of biff and barge. We love that. The rivalries are firing up.
Yep.
There's news coming out. Like, my local radio has been putting up Supercars news. Like, I've never heard that ever.
That's cool.
It's getting bigger. I'm noticing it in the niche markets, and it's everything we've been asking for. Like, just how about we stop clutching our pearls and we just get on with it and enjoy the show that Beardo's helping us to witness.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, and bring it on. It's a bit of UFC aspect about it, just let the fist fly and deal with the PR later.
It's a good one, mate. That's a good memo. I said to someone in the pit, I was like, why don't we, or why can't we, we're all big boys.
Yeah.
A push, in ice hockey, until you hit the deck, the fight goes on, right? Like, until you're on the ground, they let you keep going. And I'm like, what Dutto did to, Randle, and this is, of course, there's going to be people that don't agree, but you have the stuff going on track, but the highlight reel, we need to fill it. And I think a driver coming in another pit and putting the finger in the chest or pushing someone and having a go at him.
Or giving you the old by the collar, oi, cockhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
imagine if you go into your driver's briefing, they go, okay, guys, as long as your fists stay down by your side and there's no punching, we're happy for you to go into each other's pit and have a word to each other. Like, we want you to get in there, get up in his face and tell him he's a fuckwit.
No closed fist, but if you want to push him up against the wall and say, mate, you do it again, I'm going to drop you, no drama.
Yeah, like, I look back, Moff got me once at the Grand Prix, and I think he put me on my ass on the bonnet. And I look back, I think he got a $5,000 fine with something suspended, whatever it is.
What a load of shit.
But I look back at that and I'm like,
he should have knocked you out.
I didn't get hurt. It's like, that shit's good. There should have been a camera in front of us that got that. That's how it should be.
Well, actually, Adderton shared a video the other day of when Richie copped a fine when they were sponsoring Richie for bumping Lee Holdsworth.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
And Lee come in and give him the old shoulder on the way out. Like, but even seeing that, it was like cool to see. I'm like, fuck, when's the last time you saw a driver actually give someone a bump on the way through? Like,
we need to see more of it.
Mate, 100%. Like, you need to go and voice your opinions, and you need to be able to, if you feel the need to just give them a nudge, as you said, obviously you don't want to go in and bloody swinging fists, but if fine, give them a push, give them a shove, get up in their face, tell them what you think. It's theatre. Again, entertainment.
100%. And the last call is right. Like, it's cool to see so many people that wouldn't normally be talking about our sport, talking about it. I think we're on the right path, which is why it's disappointing that last race has kind of taken the shine off what was so good.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only bummer. And it's actually good, though, because, like I said, we didn't vet these. There's not that many about the wet. So it's still cool that people are still ringing up going, how fucking good's the racing at the moment?
Yeah, that's right. They're all saying, and his point to, like, small radio stations picking up talking about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about on podcasts. There's other podcasts that are popping up left, right and centre.
Where they need to be careful with Beardo, and you've said this a million times, he gets the credit for when it's good, but equally if it's not, he's going to cop it. So it's great to be like, saying his name and saying good job, but then unfortunately on the flip side, when something's wrong, he's going to cop it. So, somehow they need some kind of way of...
They need to protect him, because if it does go wrong, it can cause shit for him. Like,
well, that's why
it wouldn't take much for him to leave the track on a Saturday after a bad decision and there's a punter at the pub or something on the way up that sprays him. He doesn't need that shit. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
So they need to somehow try. I mean...
And that's why he's in the comment section defending himself, because it's personal.
He's
People
open
are like, Craig Baird, you made the wrong call. That's bullshit. Like, It should be that someone in that body made the wrong call, if that's your opinion, and they don't feel the need then to come out and defend themselves.
Supercar official. That's all it needs to be.
Exactly. And also, I don't think Berto's got the ego that he needs to be getting the credit for when it's great. I'm sure he'd be happy to be just like in the background going, the officials made this call. I know that's what I'd prefer.
He's not doing the job for credit. So, yeah, he doesn't need any of that.
I definitely, I'd much rather be in the background in that job. That's a shit of a job. Actually, a politician once said to me, he always referred to himself as punter repellent. That's what he thinks official, what do you call it, politicians are. Yeah. I feel like a DSO is driver repellent.
Oh.
Like, no, you're always going to upset someone.
But everyone kisses your ass and loves you until you got to go and say, mate, you fucked up, and then they think you're the world's worst bloke. You're like, you're so fake. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Part-time listener, first-time caller. Just wondering when we can get Jack Smith on the podcast. Bloke was a grid filler for a few years in Supercars and never really got interviewed. And when he did, sort of seemed chilled out or maybe stoned. Who the fuck knows? But honestly, I feel like there's a lot of questions that could be asked to him. Cheers.
Jack's actually a great personality. He's really good mates with Will too. He's one of Will's best mates.
Yeah, I've never met him, but he's racing Trans Am this year. So he's coming back to national level racing, Jack.
Right. He's racing Enduros too, isn't he? I thought he had been announced with Jackson.
With Jackson Evans. So I think, and he's also coming back to a full stint in Trans Am. So I'll get to race him on the weekend. So maybe I can ask him, hey, mate, you open to it? We've had someone ask.
He actually is.
He would come have a beer too. He'd probably be, there's not many, a few of the guys might get upset with this, but there's probably not many of the main drivers at the moment that I'm really that keen to get to the bar because I know they're not going to say what they genuinely think.
I did ask Woody to come on and he told me that the team said no chance.
Well, especially now.
So, especially now. Next one.
The Australian Grand Prix supercar race being cancelled because of rain, too wet, or what they kept saying on the coverage was, cars have got to go to New Zealand. As a paying spectator at that very point in time, I really couldn't give an F.
Yeah.
Why should I suffer because New Zealand's in 3 weeks? I'm paying money right here, right now. I want to see a race. Whether I'm sitting at home in front of the TV, by that logic, then, let's all go to a concert and they stop halfway through because they've got to pack up and go to the next city the next night.
It's actually true.
It's just silly. Thank you.
Mate, you're spot on.
Great point. I love the way you explain that.
Well, you said tickets were so expensive too.
Oh, 100%.
And you're at the fucking track.
Not good enough from that, but it is so like going to a concert. You've been pumped to go to this concert. You spent your hard-earned, and then they go after song 3. Oh, sorry, guys, we're going to cut this, our final set short because we've got to go to LA tomorrow. So I've got to get on a plane and have a good night's sleep.
Yeah, I want to be well rested. I want to be well rested so I could perform for the other people.
Yeah, you'd be like, I'm never buying your album again.
It's so true. It's so disappointing because I feel like we were on such a good trajectory as a sport, and then
look, this won't.
No, but it happens a lot. You know, Sydney, that one I remember because Adderton was so vocal, and I actually went to him going, "Nah, it was pretty bad." We talked for 10 minutes, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, we've ripped everyone off here. This is disappointing. We should have gone racing." And as a driver, I was like, "Yeah, we could have made it work. I wouldn't have." You just drive to the conditions like you have since you're 6 years old in go-karting. Like, honestly, we've done this. Like, I have literally driven since I was 6.
Yeah, and that's why when they say it's too wet, you're like, I don't know, if I had to drive around that track at 80k an hour, I reckon I'd come back.
Yeah.
Like you could, it might be a slow race and not like at least you've tried.
It's so annoying.
But that was a good memo. Well done, mate.
These are great.
Hey, Scotty. Hey, Bubs.
G'day.
He's going to leave you
Love
out.
the pod.
Thanks, mate.
Mark from Sydney here.
G'day, Mark.
Firstly, you're not the only one, mate, that doesn't put their steering wheel on.
Oh,
I had a encounter at Sydney Speedway in my sprint car, flying down the front straight, steering wheel pops off, ended up making the fence. Pretty embarrassing. But anyway, we all do stupid shit. Secondly, why do they even bother with a race on Sunday at the AGP?
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
They're always going to be time certain and treated like shit.
Yep.
Just want to see what your thoughts are of maybe not even having a V8 supercar race on the Sunday and try and do it on the extra one on the Saturday or the Friday.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Well, that's it, isn't it? We've already touched on exactly that, mate. It's a great point. I think you could ditch Sunday, do a longer race Saturday night when you're outside of the window of Formula One.
Was it Saturday or Friday, mate? There was only the one event on the day for Supercars. Was that Saturday? That was Saturday.
Saturday.
They only had the one, right? What day? No, it must have been Friday. We went in on Friday.
And Thursday they had 2 qualies and a race, and then they only had the 1 race on Friday.
Yeah, so like they could easily move that around, you'd think. And good on you for backing Scotty up with his stuff up, mate. That's very good of you.
I'm surprised you're not annoyed by that because I feel like I've copped to that.
You need a little bit of support, mate.
G'day, lads. Matt from New Zealand here. Matty. No doubt this has been a hot topic, but how the fuck do you go from Thursday's Demolition Derby to then contact with Wood and LeBrock resulting in Woody receiving a pit lane penalty? Now, their defence is that Woody's obviously turned him and wasn't up far enough, but they strategically showed the footage of Woody only exiting the corner, like Beardo's photo, strategically him exiting the corner, where when you're the inside car, you're going to have to slow yourself up to turn the corner. They didn't show any footage of Woody entering the corner or mid-corner, you know, and that camera's facing that way, so no doubt they've got that footage and they could put that case to bed. But bit of a shame for Woody, fucked his race and, you know, all his New Zealand fans supporting him. He had some serious speed and was doing anything any other driver was either doing on the Thursday or was doing within that race. It's one of those things that should have just been a racing incident, just like everything within Thursday where there were no penalties handed out. So a little bit confusing and disappointing, but be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Good on you, mate. Agree with it all. I said to you that photo looked like it was not at the start.
It's pretty strategic.
And well placed.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you, mate. And yeah, stuffed up Woody's weekend. He was on for an absolute blinder. So shit happens.
F1 has that rule, like if you're ahead at the apex, it almost doesn't really matter how you get there. If you're ahead at the apex, it's yours. Now, the screenshot we put up,
it was like he was
pretty much ahead of the apex. It was wheel to wheel.
Side by side, yeah.
So I'm sorry, mate. You go to you're on the outside. You make your own arrangements and that. But it is the one thing is it's outcome based, and that I have never agreed with until only kind of recently having the conversations with different people where that one punch thing. It's like if someone punches you in the face and they only break your nose, but then someone else punches someone and they kill them.
Yeah.
Of course,
you'd want them to go to jail forever.
Exactly. Yeah. So outcome based penalties. Fuck it. Unfortunately, it's probably something you can't. If it was just the infield and he spun, it might have been a 15-second penalty or something.
Well, yeah.
But I still just think he's spot on. It should never have been. One, it just shouldn't have been a drive-through. I think the outcome, yes, but I think the drive-through is so harsh considering what we saw on Thursday, what we saw at Sydney. I don't know. Even the bump and run. Like if you're going to hand out a drive-through. How was Cam's not a redress at Sydney Motorsport Park onto the front straight when he bump and run Brock? You know, if you're going to start handing out penalties again, we go back to where we were last year.
No, we just discussed it. Not going to hand out penalties, but you're allowed to go in and grab the bloke by the scruff of the neck and tell him what you think.
That's what we should be able to do.
Yeah.
As long as you don't throw your fists and punch someone in the face, we're all big boys. Fight on.
Boys, round 2, I think we've had enough of a sample size of sort of the landscape. Fair to say the Tickford cars are fastest, at worst the second best. So blowtorch on Thomas Randle. My question is he actually good enough for that seat? If you go through the whole year and sort of take a look at everyone's performances, Ryan Woods kind of improved a little bit against Mostert, Golding and Stanaway, poor race results, but, you know, Richie's been up there, Golding's been up there, BJR, Fullwood up there, Heimgartner. Bart Reynolds is probably going shit house, but everybody else, there's a consistency or an inconsistency, which, you know, one is sort of performing okay, maybe the other one's not. Thomas Randle, if Cam Waters is second last, Randle's last. There's never really that, you know, the base of where the Tickford car is sort of just Cam and Cam only. Now, it's a good car. He's a nice guy, good sponsor engagement. You know, he's been around for a couple of years now. So, the team's championship, which was a big hoo-ha after round 1. Oh, look, Tickford are going to go there. You know, that car can't finish 7th, 8th, 9th in the championship by getting some good solid top 10s. That's a winning car. Yeah. You know, that should be on the podium. That's got to be top 5. And I think it's 2 years in a row now. The AGP, he's hit just about everything that moved. And, you know, nice fella. But gun to my head, I'd have Frosty in it, to be honest. So it's a big couple of races for Thomas. I think he has to improve because, we can only be nice for so long, Nice guys can be enduro drivers too.
It's hard because at the Grand Prix, it wasn't the most competitive car. I agree because that's kind of been what I've been saying as well. Calling someone like Frosty, you might be a Frosty fan and say that, but I think, it's hard because there's, I was teammates with Frosty and I don't know. I think that Thomas is good, but I do agree. He's 100% in that number 2 spot. He's great with the sponsors and the sponsors love him. And he's great at that. But it's going to be up to Thomas. I think he's good enough. He just needs to decide whether he wants to continue as number 2 or not.
Whether he wants to get a bit of the mongrel about him.
Because I think he's fast. I think he can do it.
There's no doubt he's fast.
He's in that spot now where life's good. He's cruising. Sponsors love him, and he's got no threat to Cam. So Cam loves him.
Yeah. He's the nice guy.
Yeah, he's just number 2.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I tend to agree, but I also still feel it's round 2 too early in the season to make a definitive answer on that. But it's a good observation. I know
we said that last year at Adelaide. Remember when he was like, I was just defending for my life when he was 3rd to Davo? And we're like, dude, why?
I would love nothing more than him just to go, fuck this, I'm not going to be the nice guy.
Yeah.
And I'm here for me and start showing that, because the nice guy thing kind of does wear thin eventually, just for even watching the stuff. Like, as you said, how many times does he want to be in Cam's pole photos and stuff? Like, eventually people go, start fighting for yourself, bro. Like, so he's definitely fast enough. I've got no doubt about that. He can take it to Cam on his day. So, it'd be cool to see him maybe.
The gap is probably, and it's made worse by Cam being as good as he is. The gap's probably the biggest between those two as it is in any team in the lane.
Cam's very good too, like outside the car to play the nice guy, but inside the car, he wants to,
burying.
He wants to win, man. Like Cam's always been like that, and I've always rated that in Cam. So maybe Thomas needs just a bit of that as well.
Yeah.
G'day, guys. I hope you are well. My name is Narelle.
G'day, Narelle.
I just wanted to say that for me, true Aussie grit is in a video that is out at the moment of Oscar getting out of the bog and getting racing. The crowd support behind him was amazing, and you feel better every time you watch it.
He was right. He just sat there just getting out of that thing.
Good on you, Narelle.
Yeah.
I agree. He was like, I'm not DNFing my home GP. If it takes me 5 minutes to get this thing, to get some reverse going, like, I'm going to do it.
Just like never say die. And he scored points.
Yeah, and I loved how, to Narelle's point, I watched it, and then the crowds, like, even guys in Ferrari hats, stuff like, when he got back going again, they were just loving it, because you're like, I can never, as she said, Aussie grit, never say die. Until the wheels fall off the thing, I'm bringing this thing home.
Definitely.
Like, so that was great point, Narelle. We've been talking supercars, but obviously it was the Formula One race.
Yeah.
We had Oscar that did it. He was doing amazing things until he had a slight mishap and then got caught on the grass, but he didn't give up.
One thing, it's come up a few times where the fans were so far behind Oscar that I kind of felt bad for Jack. That's his first home Grand Prix. And of course, like, you don't expect the same fandom because you've got, Oscar's been around for a while and his first year was a lot quieter as well. But it was almost like the Aussies barely knew Jack was in the field. It was like when he crashed, there was no, it was just like, someone's crashed. It wasn't the same. And I think that's this Oscar, this Colapinto rumor about him replacing him, in a few rounds in, has kind of made Jack not part of the conversation. They're kind of like, he's just here for the moment.
People aren't investing.
As opposed to, so like we need to get behind him because we do have 2 Formula One drivers in the field.
I agree.
And right now is when you need to support someone like Jack because he'll be feeling a little bit shit because people are overlooking him. And Colapinto,
I think,
he's in the background.
Very hard for Jack to say, mate, coming to his home GP with all this bullshit around his contract and how many races he's going to get. And then you got other people from teams rating them as drivers, and that happened to a couple of the guys across the weekend, not just Jack. Would have been very hard. And he's not in the most competitive car either. Like, Oscar's in a situation where he's in a great car. He's a great driver, so there's expectations, and we always knew he would deliver. Okay, something went wrong on the weekend, but he was there. He was probably going to be on that podium. Jack didn't have that. Plus, he also had this cloud of all this doubt over him. So, I feel for Jack. That would have been super hard to
one of the worst. Imagine that. Your first
you'd go there, like, you'd be friggin' amped. And then all of a sudden you got people saying, is he going to get through this round? Is he going to be in the car the next round? What's going to happen? You got people saying he's a C grade, B grade driver, whatever they were saying.
That was brutal.
You're just like, fuck, just let the guy go and do his thing and enjoy his home GP. And then unfortunately he crashed out, but so did heaps of experience people. Carlos Sainz crashed on a safety car.
And he won the Grand Prix last year and he crashed on a safety car,
And he's an amazing boy.
Yep.
So it was friggin' tricky. Like, yeah, I feel for Jack. That's shit. It would have taken some sting out for him.
Yeah.
Just having that pressure. Like, mate, at Christmas time they were talking about how many races is he going to get.
Yeah, I know.
And he just signed his friggin' deal. Like, you'd be like, holy shit, let the guy, like, get through testing.
This is how brutal motorsport is, isn't it? This is where we're talking about, like, trying to soften the blow in the comment section and shed a light on when teams make mistakes, because you can cop it. Like, and his career might only be short, but even if it is, fuck.
He's still got there.
Get behind him while you can.
Yeah, like 20 people get there.
Hey, lads. Nick here. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thanks, Nick.
Great week in the racing. Amazing stuff. The on-track action was just blistering.
How was Sunday?
You know, bit disappointing. He had a couple of time-certain races. And then Sunday, what a fucking shit show that was. Built up so much hype on for a good race. And then just crumbled into nothing. I think the dude, Paul Morris and Pete Zibris, said it best. You know, we've got professional teams, professional drivers, got a wet tyre. What are they doing upstairs, you know? You live for the now. Tomorrow's problem. If the fact that teams had to load up in a couple of days was on the mind of the Supercars management when they called it, then they'd shoot him with a job for their own shit. That's not their job. You know, team owners like Jamie, you know, he said it, you know, there is that aspect of it, but again, you got a race to do right now, so just fucking get on with it.
Yep.
So it'd be amazing, you know, I don't know, that sucked, really. Melbourne put on a great show because of the track and the high speed. Wonder where there's another track that format would work on the calendar, whether that might, I thought maybe Townsville. You know,
that's a good point.
Those short, sharp races, 20 laps, 25 laps would be no pit stops. It was just great racing. They need to do that more there, I think. All right, boys. Good luck for your season, Barber and Scotty. We'll see you soon. Cheers.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, man.
It's a fucking good point. Where we talk about that format.
I really like that. And Townsville, I think, is a cracker. Like, because the long races at Townsville, I don't know.
Four short races.
I love Townsville, love the street track. I think it's an amazing event, and I just reckon it needs a bit more of that oomph about it, which I think some more short, sharp, because you might not know off the top of your head, maybe roughly, can you remember how many laps you get out in Townsville in a tank? Like, what was the stint?
Oh, my God, mate.
Like, is it 30 laps, something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So you remember that shit.
I fucking drive the thing. I wouldn't even tell you what.
You used to box and they said, mate, we need juice. You're like, copy, I'll come in this lap.
Yeah.
But yeah, Townsville I think would be a really cool one.
One thing before I forget is he mentioned Zibris and Morris. One thing with Zibris, we talked about drivers having agendas. I reckon Richie was on for a W.
And that's why he won.
So, of course, he's going to be going, why aren't we going racing? But then you're going to have teams like DJR that are buried in the pack going, well, we're going to get a pretty average result. Like,
things are shit, yeah.
Of course, like, you know, that's why I think listening to anyone involved in the show is really difficult because you just don't know.
Of course, there's a
you don't know where they're coming from. You know, I've been a competitor and I'm like, you'd be 15th and you're going, fuck, I hope they don't start this race. But I know if I started pole, I'd be going, let's go racing, baby. This thing's now the track's mint, you know, it's safe. So even Zibris would have been looking at that going, there's a win here. Yeah. So, because I've seen a lot of people saying, well, if Pete can say it, it means it's good.
Of course.
But I do think Richie could have won that race. Of course he's going to say that.
Yeah, no. As you say, no doubt on that.
Townsville for the short sprint race? Sorry, I felt bad because I knew I'd forget. I'm like a goldfish if I had that moment. And
Townsville, I think, mate, would be cool. I would like that.
Maybe it's not the Grand Prix track, but it's the format that leans itself
We've said this, mate,
chaos.
short, sharp. That's
75-point races.
That's why I've called on the 2-day events too, right? Compress. Always every hour and a half, every 2 hours, whatever, there's a supercar on track. Like, I think Towns would be amazing. Any other tracks you reckon that promote great QR?
It's difficult to know because maybe it's the format more than the track that caters for the exciting racing. Like the 75 points, I do think that's something in your mind because you know if you have a crash, you're like, well,
it's not going to ruin you.
It's 40 points you might lose if you're not going for the win or something. You know, if you're 10th, I think it's like 100 points in a regular race.
I'm trying to think of tracks that I believe create good racing, and then you put that style of format in, it's going to be ball terror, and I think QR could be one.
QR is good, yeah.
It's a good race, a couple of good passing opportunities.
I almost feel like a Winton, because we've been there and done 200K races, and it's fucking boring.
Snooze fest.
If you made that sprint races where you're like going to lunge into the last corner and stuff, and you might lose 30 points as opposed to 100.
Yeah, Winton you pass.
Maybe Winton needs to be a sprint format.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if they go back there. Yep.
Well, they fucking should. Oh, hello.
Hey, boys. Couple of little tidbits from the weekend, I thought.
Copy.
We sit here and go every year, and we hear Scaife and Crompo bang on about the new wet weather tyre, how good it is, what a great compound, the development's been awesome, but we never use it. Anytime there's a little bit of drizzle, we call it off. I understand there was a Taupo in two days and you got to ship them out, but firstly, a little bit silly from, I guess, the scheduling point of view then with Taupo. Probably should have moved it a week or something like that to sort of equate for that. It's obviously a freak situation with the weather, but then again, why have a wet weather tyre if you can't use it?
Yeah.
The weather was no worse than what it was for the F1 race, and obviously they have a wet weather tyre and it seems to work. They barely raced in it as well, but they at least tried and sort of went well. So I don't know, it just seems a bit silly to have that tyre and have the facility to develop a wet weather tyre, bang on about how good it is, and then we never use it. So it's just a bit silly, I think. But anyway, great racing other than that. Love the podcast as always, boys.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no, agree, mate. Yeah, we sort of touched on that, I guess.
So three things, or I think three things, so let me get to it. But they got like best drivers in the country or best drivers in the world. We've got amazing tyres.
Yeah.
I don't know what the third was. I thought there was three. But there's always these things they mention where it's like, you know, they pump us up.
Yeah.
Probably we got Trico wiper blades.
Well, that's definitely
we've got wiper blades. But it is, good tyres, good drivers. We should definitely be able to go racing.
I think the funny thing is with the Memo show, which we wanted to do because it's just fan opinions.
Yeah.
Everyone's singing the same song.
Yeah.
So we know that people from Supercars love our show.
They're big fans.
Big fans, big listeners, big subscribers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, maybe take it on board, some of this stuff, because we've played how many memos already?
Yeah, so find a way.
There's probably 2 or 3 things that everyone's just repeating. So everyone wants the sport to flourish and be amazing.
Yeah.
As you can tell by the fan base. Fan base is huge. People love supercars.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things. So if you are going to take anything away from our show, if you do listen, just listen to the fans.
Yeah.
Because everything they're saying is exactly what we've said. You've been in the sport. I've been around the sport a long time. So our fans are highly educated in motorsport. They know what they're talking about and they know what they want from an entertainment point of view. So maybe take it on board every now and again.
There's the words from Barber. I 100% agree.
Well, it's just everything's...
Well, except for the fact that they're big fans of the show. But I think you're spot on, mate. The fans and everyone, they know what they want, and it is everyone's consistent with what they're asking for. We'll do a couple more.
Yeah. The end goal is we want supercars to be amazing, which it is, but it can be better, right?
Definitely.
Hey guys, Reese here. Love the podcast.
G'day, Reese.
Look, I'm a simple man. I try to keep my life simple. But how is Craig Baird going to survive the rest of the damn year? Mustard smashed the shit out. I think it was Richie.
Golding.
Then we had like 2 safety cars. We had 15 minutes of nothing. And then you had the rest of the race. Easiest decision in the world for a drive-through penalty or whatever. And they reviewed it after the race. Now, are they doing this because Mostert is one of the most recognisable drivers and he was kind of up the front, so they want footage of him in the race? Or are they just stupid? Keep up the good work.
We talked about it. Why did it take him so long?
Yep. Great question, though. We want answers too, mate.
It shouldn't have taken long.
G'day, guys. Rob from Melbourne.
G'day, Rob.
Yeah, cracking weekend of racing. It's unbelievable. Across all categories, F2, F3, Porsche, Supercars and F1. Unbelievable. Really, really heartbreaking for Oscar.
Yeah, that was bad.
You know, spinning out in second. I feel like he could have been on for a win or, you know, at worst, P2.
Yep.
Which would have been amazing at his home race. But he drove a great recovery drive back to P9 from 13th. And that pass on Hamilton in the 19 complex on the last lap. Oh, mate, that did something to me. That made me feel. Yeah, it'd be rude for me not to include a sound check. So, sound check. Oh. looking forward to a bit of Trans Am this weekend, watching from home. Keen as. Cheers, boys.
Oh, I was waiting for a good luck Barbara in there.
I thought, nah, fuck.
What is it with the sound check? Even when I crack one, I always go, it's just so refreshing.
It's like whenever the first sip, it's like,
Yeah.
that was cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
G'day, guys. Sam here from Adelaide. Love the show. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just want to get your thoughts on a couple of things. First off, this race in the rain, surely, give it a go, guys. Fair enough. Also, with this GM getting involved, which I love it, being a long-time GM supporter.
So is Elliot.
They've come out and said they want to go after a big fish, so to, get some naming rights. So who do you reckon they'll go for? Do you reckon they'll go for someone like Cam Waters? Also, I think you should just keep one qualifying, scrap the rest, where if there's a 3-race weekend, qualify for race 1, and then where you start race 2 is where you finish race 1. Let's get the racing a bit more exciting. And, with these, let's get some more entrants too, with like people like Peter Adderton. Why don't they just say, yeah, no worries. You're allowed to REC. But you got to enter a Super 2 car or something just to try and help the sport. Yeah, let me know what you think. Cheers, boys. Keep up the great work.
Cool.
Cheers, mate.
Good point. So, you and I have debated over progressive grids in the past. I know you're not necessarily a fan because if you have a bit of a shitboxing qual, it kind of sets you high.
No, my opinion is it just makes for boring racing.
Progressive grids because the fastest always.
No, it just means that you don't take any risk because obviously if you. Like we talk about sprint racing and making 75 points so that if you have a crash, it doesn't really matter. You lose less points. Obviously, progressive grid, it's like why karting has final-only counts races because then you can have crazy heats and the final is the only thing that matters. So you race like fuck and then you get to the final and it just is what it is. But if you have progressive grid, of course, you're just going to make sure that if you qualify 4th, you'd be like, fuck, we need to hang on here and make sure we're the best across 3 races. As opposed to taking any risk because then you just qualify, you start where you qualify for the next one. It by definition makes you more cautious to hang on to your spot if you've qualified well. So it doesn't create good racing.
It's still the same points for each race though. So it doesn't alter the points.
No, but if you qualify for every race, it eliminates any risk in each race. So like if you have a DNF in one race and it's 75 points, you then get to start back where you qualify.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so if you have one quali, that's what I'm saying. I think if you have one qualifying and you have a DNF, your whole weekend's done, which is why people would be inclined not to take risk. Because then you'll lose, like in a championship, you don't want to lose a whole weekend.
Yeah.
So race 1, you'll be like, oh, fuck.
I now know what you're saying, sorry. Yeah.
So like it just caters for boring racing, I think, in my opinion. Because it just, that's the only reason I've thought
because you don't get another opportunity.
Yeah, that's all. Like imagine DNFing the first race, you'd be like, oh.
Yeah,
now I'm stuck for a weekend.
Everything I do is progressive grid, so I still try and go hammer and tongue, but sometimes it bites you on the backside.
Unfortunately, you pull the helmet on, not many of us have any preservation left, do we?
No.
What else was in it?
If there's a 3-race weekend.
That's progressive.
And, with these, let's get some more entrants too, with...
Adderton should 100%. Even just as a marketer, he should be involved in our sport because we need it.
I don't care who it is, but I think we need more than 23 cars on the grid regularly.
I've come around on that big time.
I think especially for your Enduros, I think you can add an extra 5 for the Enduros.
Yeah.
Give some young guys or some middle-aged Trans Am drivers a go. But, I think more cars make it more exciting.
All right, let's do one more.
Tyson here.
G'day, Tyson.
Performance sim racing. Just wanted to say my thoughts on the weekend. I thought Supercars race 1 was fantastic, great racing. A bit of an unfair penalty during the race. No surprise for Supercars, of course. It was great support categories. Bit disappointing come Sunday race day with no Supercars, no F2. But lucky the F1 got underway and that was a very good spectacle. Great racing, strategy was fun. Weather was playing a part, strategy with tyres was a question. Good to see the dry tyres come out there for a second and then obviously back onto the wet. So it was a very interesting, entertaining race. Thanks for the podcast as always. And if you're still listening to this, Elliot, you need to finish your beer.
Oh, I think you have finished it. He's literally just put his stubby cooler down. He's done, Tyson.
Oh, this is what... Not Fastest Furious said there's one from what Ryan Carson you might enjoy. Okay, so that was that.
No, that was Tyson.
Oh, that was Tyson, sorry, was it?
I do have. So that was everything that was downloaded, all right? So what we can do, I'm guessing that Ryan...
so Ryan was obviously...
Yeah. Ryan Carlson must have put one in here just recently, I'm guessing, during our Patreon chat.
I finished my beer too. Thanks, man. Keep me on my toes. I like it.
Do you know that feeling of anxiety that you get when you walk around the back of the car after you've just fucking thunder your shin into the table and you're looking at that ball going, you motherfucker, and you leave like 1.5 metre gap like a fucking cyclist just because you do not want to get your shin anywhere near that? Well, it's got nothing to do with what I want about. I just thought it was a great weekend of racing and I actually really enjoyed it. Cheers, boys.
Oh, Ryan's just trying to stitch us up, but
that's a good, that's what it's, yeah. I like it.
We might have to put a beep over the C word, but other than that, it was pretty solid.
Might not make the C word might not make it.
YouTube might ban us for that one, but hey, not a bad
that'll
point.
be in the Patreon edit. Yeah. I like it. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks to everyone, Patreon, that joined us.
Loved it.
Couple of pods tonight. I hope you enjoy the fan memo. Send us your questions in the comment section below. We keep an eye on them. Steers the direction of the show.
Yep.
I need a piss.
Thanks for your support, guys. We'll see you next week.
Cheers. Good night.
Ciao.